The action took place in a destroyed, relatively small town. In 2047, 25 years have passed since the interdimensional gates of hell opened across the world. The world has changed, humanity has fallen, there are only a few residents of this city left. One of them was an unknown guy in armor, and the second and last remaining resident is just an ordinary old man. One day these two met, standing face to face. The man who was wearing armor suddenly took out his demonic sword, and just as unexpectedly, with a swing, he stuck it into the ground. Kneeling on one knee, holding the sword with one hand, he held out the monster's head to the man with the other hand. After all this, they decided to go to a bar to have a drink and relax at the same time. That monster's head said that there were rumors that this man only targeted top-level demons. Also, she decided to ask him directly what he was up to. The man said that he talks too much, and that he himself will soon find out about everything. Finally, it dawned on the monster whether he had really decided to complete that very quest. His grandfather confirmed his guess and said that before all people die out, he needs to collect 666,666 heads of top-level demons. After he collects all the heads, he can turn back time, and the very demon head he received was the last one to be collected. The heads of these demons kept screaming and screaming about how crazy this grandfather was. What does he want to achieve with this? Is he really going to go back to the past and change the future? To which he replied that he wants to finally meet his daughter, and this is his only goal. After all, it was only for the sake of his daughter that he held out in this nightmare for 25 years. The heads asked him if he really thought that they would just leave it like that. Speaking about them, the demon meant some higher beings. Grandfather said that if this were so, then they would not open the gates of hell and turn this world into a nightmare. And also they would not have created this quest. Saying this, an unknown portal opened in front of him. The man said that he would kill anyone who decided to stand in his way of achieving his goal. A moment later, from an old and exhausted grandfather, he turns into a young and energetic guy. Without thinking for a second, he jumped out of bed and ran to the door. Opening the door and going inside, he said someone's name in a slightly loud tone. In that room, a little girl named Karen was sleeping in a bed. Suddenly memories came flooding back to him. It was a city of destruction, where he held his daughter with his hand over some cliff. It was the roof of a multi-story building, where only her father's hand kept her from falling. But the problem was that his right arm was broken and his left arm could not be moved. The father prayed to God that his daughter would survive, even at the cost of his own life. But suddenly, under the daughter hanging on the cliff of the roof, an unknown demon appeared. He got closer and closer to the little girl, and from everything that was happening she began to cry and scream. Unfortunately, this did not help her. The monster ate the girl, leaving only the hand that was holding on to her father. The father recalled with horror his most terrible and past nightmare. The sounds he made out of worry and fear woke up his daughter. She thought it was her father, but there was no one in the room anymore. As if nothing had happened, he was already standing outside the door of her room. He even cried because a storm of emotions washed over him. One of them was happiness, because everything finally worked out for him, and he returned to his daughter. But he also understood that his happiness would not last long. After all, as soon as the hellish portal opens, the world will change beyond recognition. For 25 years he lived alone. Could he relive that horror again? His father thought, but he was not happy with this outcome. After which he added that he would do everything to prevent this from happening again, even if he has to do it at the cost of his own life. Suddenly he noticed that he still had magic. He was surprised that his abilities were still intact. Suddenly he felt the presence of some weak spirit. Taking a look at the painting, he assumed it was his wife May. Thanks to his abilities, he felt that the spirit of his dead wife was hugging him. He still didn't understand why his powers had returned to him again. Maybe it's because he went back in time. In any case, there are only 3 days left until October 11th, when the gates of hell appear. However, there are those who know about the opening of the gate, and 3 days before the catastrophe, 8 prophets chosen by the 8 highest ones will appear. They were considered the saviors of humanity, because they showed incredible growth rates. If we remember everything that happened to Tyler over 25 years, then now he can receive many achievements that the prophets in the past took for themselves. Going out into the street, he went up to some basement, and saying that it was time to get the benefit, he went downstairs. In that basement, he went into one of the rooms that were there. He was surprised, because there should have been no one in this room, like in the entire basement. But a man was sitting right in the middle of this room. He asked the guy what brought him to the ship. Tyler replied that he was here to buy something. Suddenly the guy was grabbed by a huge demon hand. The demon angrily asked the guy who he even was. The guy replied that he had heard that preparations for the test of the prophet should take place here. After which he asked the demon if he had made a mistake. The demon was surprised. Was it really possible that someone was called here? He said that this is very strange, because as far as he knows, the selection process is still ongoing. Tyler replied that it probably was, that's why he was here. And then he added that he needed to come before the end of the selection to take a place. Could this really be the brat the demon heard about? He went back in time after killing 666,666 high-level demons. Or the guy thought that they wouldn't know about it, and the truth would just hide. They know about the change in the flow of time because of him. This time the demon told the guy that he would end. The demon said that he really believed that he could do whatever he wanted since he returned to the past. He advised the guy to remember that this place is a chessboard created by higher powers, and by interfering in the game he will only achieve their anger. Having thrust 3 daggers into the demon's hand, Tyler ordered him to remove his hand from him, because it stinks. In fact, he tried to cut off his hand, but apparently his body is still not ready for this, and besides, he does not have special runes yet, so it is quite logical. After which Tyler said, does he really not understand anything? After all, it was these brats who allowed him to return to the past. Perhaps the demon thought that such creatures cared about this. Therefore, as soon as he heard such words, he immediately tried to attack the guy. Without even having time to touch Tyler, the demon misses a blow to the head from him. Tyler asked if his head was just for decoration. He couldn't even imagine what it would be like to go back in time. This means that he completed absolutely all quests, and his hand killed 666.666 thousand top-level demons. The only thing the demon could think about was that his race existed by eating the fear of other creatures. But for the first time in his life he was afraid of a person. And because of the feeling of fear, from a huge and strong demon, he turned into a small and frightened demon. Tyler said there were only 2 things he needed to know. First, before the gates of hell open, representatives of his race should not kill people, because this is a broken rule. Second, he came here to meet a special demon and bind him. Then he added that he should not even think about killing him after the gates of hell open. Tyler called him by name. It was a 2nd-level demon, Miguel, who was surprised that the guy knew his name, to which the guy replied that he had fairly good connections in the city. The little demon started yelling at Tyler. Did he really want to say that he was his minion or something like that? The guy didn't like the fact that some little demon was shouting at him, so he looked at him with a gloomy and angry look. He, in turn, felt the seriousness of this look, as a result of which he calmed down. But he knew how to change the situation, so he took a huge bag and threw it to Tyler. It was a collection of magical items that could be purchased with monster heads, but all the items were unreasonably expensive. If you give 1 head for 1 killed monster, then he will never be able to buy anything. With a puzzled expression on his face, the demon asked the guy why he was looking so intently, since he didn't even have a real way to collect so many heads. Ultimately, the guy chose a scroll and showed it to the demon. The next thing Tyler said was that he wanted Miguel to give the parchment to him. The demon said that he really lost his head. He didn't understand what he meant, how to give it. One of the possibilities for receiving this magical parchment was if someone from Miguel's race gave it as a gift. But Miguel did not want to do this, because he stuck swords in his hand. The demon also said that he even managed to hit him in the face. So why should he give it? The demon didn't understand what the pig was thinking about, but he told him to fuck off. Suddenly Tyler took and pulled the daggers out of his hand. Miguel was in quite a lot of pain afterwards. He asked him what he was doing. Undeterred, Miguel brought Tyler 2 bundles of money, containing 20 million won, and said that if he tried, he would give him another 80 million. But Tyler said that he himself knew very well that in 3 days these pieces of paper would be worth nothing. Therefore, he said that he would definitely want to return it to himself, because in 2 years this money would save his life during a pitch-black night. The demon may not know, but Tyler knows what will become valuable and what will be simply useless. Tyler said that money will always have value, even when the gates of hell open. The demon thought that for people it is possible and money, but for them it is just pieces of paper. But Miguel still doubted his words. What if he was lying to him, to which Tyler replied that he could not prove anything. It's his choice whether to listen to him or not. But the demon should remember that after 2 years he will be banging his head against the wall, regretting that he did not agree. Miguel said that he is so evil that he is even worse than those brats with a snake head and a human torso. Smiling back at him, Tyler said that he had heard about this before. Suddenly, a portal begins to open near them, and a moment later the magic parchment was already in Tyler's hands. Miguel asked him what he was going to do with it. Tyler laughed it off, saying that he needed it for personal, candid recordings, and it will also be his entrance ticket to the tests of the prophet. Miguel said he had enough. He hoped he knew what he was doing. Before he could finish what he started, Miguel felt something was wrong and turned around and saw that Tyler has opened the parchment and is doing some manipulations with it. In an instant, reality seemed to begin to distort and eventually crack. Having opened the portal, Tyler said that he wanted to meet with the main one. Seeing this, Miguel rushed screaming in his direction. Thus, they were both sucked into another world. Tyler asked him why he was following him, to which the demon replied that he just wanted to see how he would die. Then he added that he knows the runes about the prophets thanks to knowledge from the past. Maybe that's why he's trying to take away privileges from a select few. Miguel asked what he was going to do with the prophet, since it was the prophet who was supposed to get here in the first place. The demon said that right now he was taking away his privilege, and then asked if he was at least a little ashamed. Tyler began to remember a howling ghost named Travis. He was an unrivaled being, one of the 8 battle stars, leading many of the dead and being practically immortal. Travis was equal in strength to the strongest among the 8 battle stars, but to the people, he was just another scum that needed to be disposed of. This attitude towards him appeared due to the fact that he was a psychopath. To use the dead, the necessary corpses of course, Travis conducted experiments on living people to create the perfect corpse. It turned out that he also conducted experiments on Tyler himself. Miguel said that it doesn't matter how cool he was in his previous life, because now he is an ordinary person, so he needs to be careful. Then he added that he doesn't even know who owns the place to which he opened the door. Tyler said that of course he knows. This place belongs to the one who tormented him for 18 years. Suddenly a voice from the darkness said that he had not given permission to enter. It turned out that they had just entered the territory of the owner of the 7 snakes. The voice asked Miguel why he brought the man with him. Miguel, in turn, did not know what to answer. From the darkness it was again heard that only a prophet is allowed to enter here. But this guy is not the prophet he chose. The guy said that not choosing him was his biggest mistake, because he should have taken Tyler in the first place. Unable to withstand such intensity of emotions, Miguel immediately revealed that this man was the one who returned to the past, the one who killed 666.666 thousand demons. The voice said that it was the one who turned their playing board upside down. Then he added that he did not have the necessary qualifications, to which Tyler confidently said that he should check it out personally, because he is better than Travis, whom he chose. The voice laughed. Could it be that the one who changed the flow of time was his follower? Hearing these words, Tyler crouched down, took out a dagger, and attacked the huge red eye that was in front of him. At the same time, he stated that he had never been his follower, so he told him not to talk nonsense. After the attack, Tyler was thrown back, and from the darkness he heard what was amazing. Tyler heard his side asking where he got such power. In his mind Tyler said that he thought so. Even though he is a higher being, he doesn't know everything. This power is proven by the fact that he returned to the past. Maybe this is compensation for what he had to go through hell. With a snap of his finger, a purple fire ignited around the two. The unknown man again asked where he got such strength. Tyler said that Travis is the prophet he will choose. According to him, he received this power from him. The one sitting on the throne again said that he had not thought about Tyler being his subordinate. Sitting on the throne, surrounded by huge snakes, was none other than the master of the snake family. He said that he heard something about who killed 666.666 thousand high demons. The owner of the snakes said that the observer of the sun and moon probably did this. He was very touched that Tyler had successfully overcome this path, and came to him. But unfortunately, he has already chosen a prophet, and his decision is unshakable. Tyler asked him if he knew what conditions needed to be met to return to the past. He said that he was the only survivor. He was the one, not the one he chose. The guy said that all the chosen prophets died before him. Tyler explained that he didn't come to beg for a position as a prophet, he just wanted to give him a chance. If he chooses not him, so be it, but he will bring victory to another higher one, and whoever he chooses as a prophet, Tyler promised to kill first. The owner of the snakes was seriously angry. Did he really dare to threaten him? Then he added that he could slam him in the blink of an eye. And in addition, the owner of the snakes said that he could become an enemy of the higher ones, which means that it would be more difficult for him from the very beginning, in which case why should he choose him? Tyler replied that by choosing him, he could win the damn game. He knows that the higher-ups cannot view him as an enemy because of the rules. Even though he didn't know anything when the gates of hell opened, he was still able to survive. Therefore, having gained knowledge, this time he will be able to survive 100%. The owner of the snakes said that he liked this arrangement of events. After these words, some kind of portal appeared near Tyler. In place of this portal, Travis appeared, wearing home clothes. Before they can ask where, they know his real name. A huge hand appeared above him, which ultimately crushed him. The snake master said that he would eventually change the prophet he had chosen. Smiling slyly, he said that he was choosing Tyler as his prophet. Tyler smiled back at him. He was glad. He finally succeeded. A couple of minutes later they were already in the treasury of snakes. It was a triad of poisonous doors. The owner of the snake said that now he can only open the copper door, and Tyler can take everything he needs from it, because he will have to help people in this carnival. The guy asked in surprise if this was all just a festival for them. The owner of the snakes replied that it could be said that way, and for convenience asked to call him Sam. Tyler looked at him and mentally said that this was just the beginning, and he would take advantage of everything he could. Miguel said that just the sight of it made his knees shake, and they chatted as if there was nothing wrong here. Before he could enter the copper door with them, it slammed right in front of him. After a moment, Tyler came out alone and said they could go. Miguel was very interested in what was happening inside, so he decided to ask Tyler directly. Tyler told him that inside he received a magical item. It was the helmet of a Leoric monk, a legendary first class. It belonged to the most arrogant king in history. When this helmet is used by the living, it drains vital forces from them, but when the dead use it, they gain enormous power. Miguel mentally admitted that he was interested in what he would choose. But why did he choose something absolutely useless for a living creature? But all he said out loud was that Tyler had amazing taste. He didn't react, and told Miguel to show him his bag. The demon reminded him that in order to buy anything, you need monster heads. To which Tyler said that he had heads and showed a bag containing 100,000 heads. He asked if he really received these heads from the owner of the snakes. Tyler said that Sam really gave them to him. Miguel said that every time they give something, they charge incredible prices for even the simplest things. With a worried expression on his face, he asked what he paid for the 100,000 heads. But Tyler replied that he did not pay for them. After all, Sam was the one who paid him because he was worried that he would be targeted by the other prophets, since he went back in time. But in return, he gave him a quest, calling it his fortune. Something equivalent to such a feat as returning to the past, or killing 666.666 thousand demons. In addition to the legendary level quest, a hidden quest of the 7 incarnations of snakes has also been added. Miguel was shocked by what he heard, so he couldn't even move. Tyler asked him why he was hanging out, because he told him to give him his bag. He immediately reached into his bag and asked what he needed to find. Tyler said that he needed some kind of useful and rare sword for the heads that he had. He only had a few swords. One of them was associated with a curse, so it was quite cheap. Tyler said he would choose this sword and use the remaining head to buy a bag for it. To which Miguel said that he would give him his bag. He was surprised that he was doing it just like that. Miguel said that he just needed to get rid of the objects, with a complex history, because they were a complete headache. Besides, friendship with him is worth much more than some unfortunate bag. Tyler asked Miguel what time it was. He replied that it was now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But Tyler was interested in why it was so empty here. Miguel replied that it was because there was a barrier here. The guy praised Miguel for his good job. Tyler wouldn't be late today. It was a big relief for him. Miguel suspected that he was planning to do something else, but he asked directly what he was going to do. Was he really going to hunt the prophets? Miguel worried. He didn't have time to finish his assumptions when Tyler said that he needed to pick up his daughter. Miguel clearly did not expect to hear such an answer from him. Waving his hand, Tyler said that school would end soon and he had to hurry, so they would see each other later. There were only 2 days left before the gates of hell opened. Tyler spent all this time with his daughter. For him, it was like a flash of something normal in a life full of chaos. Karen asked her father if today was the day Tyler was talking about. He replied that it was indeed today. She bought survival supplies with her own pocket money and then asked her father if it would be enough. Tyler asked her if she really believed what he said. Karen said that of course she did. Smiling on his face, she said that she would always be by his side. The action took place at Taejun National Cemetery, where Tyler came. Seeing him, some guy began to salute the mind. Tyler was surprised. He was still saluting him, even though they had been fired a long time ago. Then this guy asked how Tyler's daughter was doing. In turn, Tyler replied that his daughter was now sleeping in the car, because today would be a very difficult day. There's a reason why Thaler wanted to meet him here and not in Seoul. He said that he had some important information that he would like to share. Tyler asked the guy that if he told him that the world was going to end soon, would he believe him? In an instant, the coffee that the guy was drinking was spat out with laughter. Did he really come here just to make such a ridiculous joke? Squeezing his glass, Tyler really wished that this was all just a joke. The guy sensed something was wrong. Everything around began to shake. It was like an earthquake. All the people around began to panic. No one understood what was happening. The guy jumped up from the bench and said to urgently call 119. Then he said that it was useless and added that they needed to get out of there quickly. But Tyler was serious. Taking out his magic sword, he said that he would not go anywhere. After all, he is going to kill all the monsters here. Looking at what was happening, the guy continued to panic and asked Tyler to leave. But Tyler responded by saying that he wanted them to survive together this time. The guy was very scared, because while Tyler was saying these words, a bunch of goblins appeared behind him, attacking him. But in the blink of an eye, all that was left of the goblins attacking him was a wet spot. After which Tyler asked Adam to bring his daughter here. As soon as he heard his request, he immediately ran after his daughter. He still continued to fight the goblins while saving people. At one point, a portal in the form of a snake's eye appeared in the sky, and from there, more demon-like goblins appeared. Sam said that since Tyler deals with the lives of the dead, and if he wants to save someone, his action will affect the lives of others. Therefore, it is worth being a terrible egoist, because this is the path that supports the 7 snakes. After all, no matter what he does, he will still be made a hypocrite. Tyler said that he would need strength no matter what, even if one day he had to accept the fate of a hypocrite. He said that he has more power than anyone on earth, after which he began to call upon the souls of dead people. While summoning the souls of the dead, Tyler gained the 2nd level of the Soul Eye skill. But, unfortunately, due to his untrained body, he only had enough strength for 3 revived souls. And now the goblins approached Adam himself, who was surprised that Tyler was coping with everyone alone. Looking behind him, he was surprised that Karen could sleep peacefully in such an environment. Looking up, he saw one of the goblins flying towards them. Before he could even touch them, the goblin fell to the ground without his head. Adam was interested in who these people were near Tyler, to which he replied that he would explain everything to him later. First he needed to take this sword, so that he can protect himself and Karen, because there are still many goblins around. But Adam promised the master not to pick up the sword again. But he could not refuse, because he had to save people. People didn't understand why the police hadn't arrived yet. They were very scared. No one wanted to die. Suddenly the woman discovered her son under the bridge, where there were many goblins. She was about to run to him, but a man stopped her and said that they had to save the remaining people. But her mother still asked him to let her go. While all this was happening, there was already a goblin behind the boy, who was ready to attack him. But in the blink of an eye, Adam deprived him of his head, thereby saving the boy. The boy was very scared, so Adam told him to go to his mother. Tyler mentally said that he should not show his strength, so he would entrust the position of leader leading people to Adam. In a past life, he was the leader of a clan of armed guards. He was even nicknamed the Taishan Swordsman. Instead of intervening in the battle, Tyler decided to lead everything from the shadows. Having killed a huge number of goblins, Adam wanted to take a break because he was very tired. He was glad that he could finally sit down and catch his breath. Suddenly Adam saw something, which greatly alarmed him, because he thought that he had dealt with all the goblins. Taking a look at it all, Tyler said that he had finally arrived. This was the main and strongest warrior of all the goblins they saw. The goblin began swinging his sword at Adam. Fortunately, Adam managed to expose the sword to the blow, so he did not miss a direct blow with the sword. But the goblin's blow was so strong that Adam was even thrown back several meters, and with great force he crashed into the wall. But the goblin had no intention of continuing to attack him, he simply turned around and left. Tyler said his bones didn't seem to be broken, so he'd be fine. But Adam didn't understand what was going on, why he stopped, and just walked away. Perhaps it was because he was heading towards the altar. This is a place built to offer crops to the goblin chief. They want to make their base there. If they are not stopped, they will quickly increase their numbers. Are they really going to do this with a memorial? Adam said mentally. But at one point Adam asked Tyler how he knew all this. He replied that this was his second life. Adam began to make fun of him. They say that for him this must be such a bore, so he suggested ending it quickly. Tyler told him to calm down. Nothing would end with the destruction of that creature. To stop their plan, they must kill the goblin leader. But compared to the rest of the warriors, the leader looks as if he could not withstand even one blow. After which Adam asked if everything was okay with Karen. Tyler told him not to worry, because he put her to bed especially for such a case. The next thing Tyler did was summon the spirit, and said that they should start by destroying the goblin warriors. He told Adam that many things would happen in the future that would surprise him, so he should be prepared. A moment later, Tyler began to attack the goblins. He threw a sword at one of them. The goblin did not have time to react, because the sword hit him right in the eye. The next weapon Tyler used to attack the goblin was poisonous darts that he stabbed straight into his stomach. At that moment, Adam jumped out of nowhere, and was about to deal the goblin a fatal blow. He struck him right in the neck, but could not cut it. The sword simply did not want to go further. Adam thought that the goblin had just pumped up his neck muscles, which is why his sword didn't go through. After which he said that the poisonous darts were very effective. Where Tyler got them from, he replied that on Algie Street, in the underground square. Tyler said that they needed to kill the main goblin warrior before the chief intervened, so they should hurry. Suddenly, the main goblin warrior attacked Tyler and Adam, but fortunately, they both dodged the blow. Immediately after reaching the gate, Tyler began attacking him again with poison darts. All the darts that Tyler threw hit the goblin right in the chest. Unable to stand on his feet from the poison that was in those darts, the goblin warrior fell to the ground. Adam shouted that this time he would definitely do everything right and cut off his neck. He kept his word. He still managed to cut off his head, after which he was surprised, because their bones are quite hard. His arms even hurt, but in the end he managed thanks to his biceps. Tyler told him not to let his guard down, then added that right now they need to go to the leader. But suddenly Thaler felt something was wrong. He turned around and saw. Right in front of Adam stood the goblin chief who was about to attack him. But Adam didn't notice him, so he turned to Tyler and, with a smile on his face, asked if something had happened. Fortunately, Adam was very lucky, because the warrior soul that Tyler summoned protected him, standing under attack. Tyler was worried, because the growth rate of warrior spirits was quite low, they wouldn't be able to cope. Adam decided to help with the attack of the goblin leader. He swung his sword at him, but during the blow he noticed that there was some kind of protective dome around him. A moment later, the goblin leader threw Adam away with magic. Tyler began to explain that this is a shield, although it is not high-level magic, but even so, it is quite annoying. Adam asked Tyler what they should do in this case, to which he replied that they just need to hit harder, because Adam himself cannot strike with enough force. Tyler advised him to trust the sword with his sword. This is because cursed objects have souls. Seeing this whole situation, the goblin leader ordered the goblins to attack them. Tyler began to attack first. He threw a silver blade at the goblins. Having hit the first goblin he met, the dagger split and everything around caught fire. He said he couldn't stall any longer, so now it was Adam's turn. Oh, in the blink of an eye, Adam was enveloped in black and red magic, and he flew into the sky. Adam flew towards the goblin leader, who tried in every possible way to fight back with magic, but nothing helped. Unexpectedly for the goblin leader, Adam managed to break through his protective dome with his sword. In an instant, the sword was directly in the heart of the goblin leader. After defeating the goblin leader, even the sky became clearer and brighter. After defeating the goblin leader, they completed many quests for which they were given rewards. Adam did not understand what these boxes were. Tyler told him that it was thanks to his victory. These chests contained many rewards, both valuable and simple. One of the valuable rewards was the bracelet of the goblin leader, which gave a magic shield with a limited use of 5 times a day. Adam immediately took it for himself. Then some pretty good items. There was the heart of the goblin leader. When absorbed, you can get magical power from it, but absorption requires innate magic, only it is useless for them, because both of them do not have innate magic. Tyler said that when the next gate opens, an exchange will appear, where he can sell it for a high price. As soon as he wanted to keep this heart, he failed. Something prevented him from doing it. It was strange. The heart found the recommended object. No one understood what was happening, because they do not have innate magic. Because the goblin chief's heart found a suitable host, it turned into magic and flew into the sky. All the magic that was in that heart was absorbed into Tyler's daughter, Karen. He did not expect that his daughter had innate magical powers. Of course, he could not predict this, because last time he lost her. But Tyler had doubts, not because his daughter had innate magic, but because he had never seen an entry level that was legendary before. Tyler was worried, because he didn't want such a fate for his daughter. He didn't want her hands to be up to her elbows in blood. Adam said that Tyler doesn't have to tell her about her magical abilities, because even they have a hard time fighting monsters. After all, even if the world is going to hell, children should live a good and calm life. And finally, after a long time, Karen woke up. She saw that she was on the street and was surprised, because before that she had slept in the car. Adam said that she had grown so much since they had not seen each other. He asked her if she wanted to play airplanes with him. Karen replied that she was no longer a little child, so she didn't do that kind of thing. Turning around, Karen saw that the city was in complete chaos. Bodies were lying everywhere, both people and goblins. Seeing all this, Karen turned to her father, because he promised her that, no matter what happens, they will cope with everything together. After all, that's why he told her about today, so that they could do everything together. Suddenly, a little boy approached Karen and asked her for help. She asked him what happened, to which he replied that something happened to his mother, after which he pointed his finger at her body. It turned out that she had been killed by goblins. The boy cried a lot, so Karen hugged him and began to calm him down. Adam said that he and his daughter are very similar, which is why Karen is precocious, but Tyler said that she is more like her mother. Tyler admitted that he was so weak, that he was so afraid for her that he wanted to lock her in 4 walls and not let her out. But Adam said that this is normal, because he is still a father and he is worried about her. Turning to her father, she offered to take this boy with her, but Tyler said that this was absolutely forbidden to do, because it would be much safer for him to go to the shelter than to stay with them. Karen didn't want to leave him, because he was all alone. Tyler was adamant. He said that he would never take him with him, but Karen continued to say that he would be scared if left alone. After all, his father is not around, and his mother was just killed by goblins. Thaler froze for a couple of seconds, because this looked like the situation his daughter had almost been in. Suddenly Sam came out of the portal. He said that everything happened as he said. After all, he who had walked the path of death now chose life. For him it was simply ridiculous. He praised him only for killing the goblin leader, although it was planned to build a citadel before midnight, and then goblins would walk throughout the city. Sam said things weren't going according to plan, but wouldn't it be a plus for Sam if Tyler took a proactive stance? The owner of the snake said that this is indeed beneficial for him, but not all the higher ones agree with this, because he raised the dead even before the start of the carnival. Tyler didn't understand what the actual problem was. He simply used the means available to him, but Sam said that it all had to start with the carnival. Now the balance is broken. Sam asked Tyler if he could call upon the defenders of the country, dead gods or heroes. The guy said that the first thing to think about was the safety of people. It was to solve this problem that Sam came to Tyler, because he had a compromise for him. The compromise consisted in exchanging life for life. Because he had already collected a certain number of souls of the dead, Sam asked to give them to him. Usually the main thing is that the exchange is equal, but since there was a mistake on both sides, only one life can decide everything. This life was the life of that little boy. Tyler still wanted to leave him here. Better to give this boy's life to Sam than just leave him here to die. Hearing all this nonsense, Karen, without a second's hesitation, ran up to Sam and hit him. Karen asked who this pathetic woman was going to kill. Sam was seriously angry, because an ordinary person dared to hit him. he immediately threw her away with his magic. He threw it so far that it hit the wall. Tyler wanted to help his daughter, but Sam didn't spare him either. After which Adam decided to intervene with an order to stop. He swung his sword at him and was ready to attack. But in the end, Sam neutralized all three. He said that although he likes Tyler, if his daughter crosses the line, she will be punished. Sam thought whose life he would take, the life of his daughter or that boy. He said that Tyler would have to choose one of them. Whoever he chooses will die. Suddenly, the heart of the goblin leader fell out of Tyler's pocket. It immediately turned into magic and began to soak into his daughter, Karen. Sam started laughing, saying that this is exactly what he was waiting for. Tyler was surprised that he studied Karen's abilities. He planned everything in advance. After which he apologized to his daughter for everything he had done, said that he just wanted to protect her, and admits that it was his mistake. In response, his daughter told him that he was not to blame for anything. From now on, no matter what he does, no matter what decision he makes, she will always believe in him and will be on his side. Suddenly, her mother's spirit began to calm her down and transfer powers to her, changing her magical level. Once the girl gained more power, she created a magic ball, blaming Sam for it being his fault. She sent this magic ball in his direction, but instead of dodging the blow, he just stood there and smiled. With just a wave of his hand, he absorbed Karen's entire attack. Then he added that this is not even the highest level of power, but only legendary. Sam asked Tyler if he really didn't have enough people, so another interesting guy appeared next to him. Preparing to attack, Karen told Sam not to move, but a moment later she lost consciousness and fell to the ground. Sam said that thunder and lightning are magic that require enormous power. Since Karen's power had just awakened, she was faced with an overload. He approached her and began to use some kind of magic. Seeing this, Tyler told him not to touch his daughter, otherwise everyone would die, regardless of rank. In turn, Sam said that he would not do anything to her, he just wanted to help her. Sam said that he could have thanked him for the treatment, after which he added that other higher ones also saw what happened, so this time the performance would be enough. The snake owner said that now he needs to protect himself not only from monsters, but also from superiors who are jealous of his daughter. Tyler said that even he himself probably wouldn't sit back and watch. Hearing this, Sam threw Tyler some unknown red ball. It turned out that this item was created after the completion of the Goblin Citadel. After which, with a smile on his face, he told Tyler to take care of himself in order to survive for his victory. Waking up in the car, Karen asked if there had been a fight with Sam. She didn't remember anything at all. Adam told her that she fainted from overload. Karen began to remember, and at that very second she asked what happened to that boy. He replied that the boy was fine. His brother had taken him to the shelter. Karen said that he should have gone with them, to which Tyler said that he would be much safer in the shelter than with them. After all, thanks to one person, this shelter is now the safest place in South Korea. Tyler has known this man all his life. He can be trusted, so Karen doesn't have to worry about that boy. Karen asked if it was safest there. Where were they going now? Tyler replied that they were going to Seoul. When the first gate of hell closes, a new place called the dungeon will open in Seoul. Dungeon rewards are much needed if they are to prevent an even greater disaster. Adam asked Tyler if he was some kind of prophet chosen by the highest. Tyler replied that he was. After which Adam asked what they should do now in this case. The answer was obvious. Tyler said that what they needed most now was to become stronger. Suddenly, on the radio they heard that train traffic was disrupted due to damage to the track. Adam said that it would be difficult to drive along this road. He, of course, is not a coward, but he was worried, because Karen was with them, so it was better to take the federal highway. Suddenly, a goblin flew straight into their windshield. They immediately stopped and asked if Karen was okay. Tyler began to think that they hadn't dealt with all the goblins yet. Suddenly, an arrow flew near Tyler's ear and hit the goblin right in the eye. It was some cowardly guy. He asked for forgiveness, after which he added that that monster was going to attack. Tyler told him to lower his bow first. There were several bodies of goblins lying around the car. Tyler asked if this guy killed them all. He replied that that's exactly what happened. Adam praised him for his excellent vision, because he was aiming straight at the goblin's vital organs. Tyler began to doubt whether an ordinary person could have killed 5 goblins with one bow. After which Tyler asked what the guy's name was. He replied that his name was Andrew. Adam asked him how he ended up in such chaos. because the loudspeaker said that everyone should stay home. The guy replied that he needed to go to Seoul, where his grandfather was in the hospital and was not in touch. Now Tyler understood why he didn't see him in his previous life, because even Karen, who has the best magic, could not escape, and he told the guy to return home. But the guy begged to take him with him. He said that he would definitely pay them for it. Holding some kind of purple stone in his hands, he said that this thing fell out after the monster died, to which Adam responded that he was not a brother and did not work with stones. Suddenly Thaler ran up to Adam asking if that stone really appeared after the death of the goblin. Apparently Tyler recognized the stone and wondered if it might appear now. In the end, they took the guy with them. Tyler asked him if he really lied. Andrew replied that he really fell out of the goblin. It turns out that it was one of the magic runes, the rune of dexterity. There are two types of power that people get at the carnival. The first is predisposition, as in the case of Karen, and the second is stats. Predisposition, the main talent from birth, and any person can receive and increase stats. Runes, special items that increase stats, of course, they were in great demand, but the chances of a rune falling out of monsters are negligible. Of course, the chances of a rune falling out are not zero, and there is even a chance of falling from a goblin. Tyler wondered if this was more than just luck. He turned to Andrew and asked him who taught him to use a bow. He replied that his father was a member of the national team, but was in the hospital after an accident. His father's name was Brian, a name even Adam recognized. And then Tyler remembered that Brian in a past life was a rune master. Except for him and Amanda, no one in the world had such an ability. Clans all over the world wanted to recruit him, but he was in a coma for 7 years due to an accident. One of the 8 battle stars, Ariel, nicknamed the Saint, spent a fortune on an elixir to help Brian. But although she was nicknamed the Saint, she was not an innocent lamb. Ariel got rid of Brian as soon as he refused the clan's offer. But Tyler promised that in this life everything would be different. Adam asked Tyler if they were going to the hospital, to which he replied that they would go somewhere else first. Andrew said that they promised to take him to his father, because they might be late and something might happen. Tyler said that even if they went there now, nothing would change. And for the goblins throughout Korea, all available police, firefighters and military personnel were brought in to help. First of all, they took care of medical institutions. In addition, the hospital is much safer than on the road, and now they need to collect more heads. If they get the elixir, they can cure his father. The elixir costs 400,000 heads, but it would not be possible to collect that amount at once. Adam said that Andrew's luck is high now, because right now they are going to the dungeon. Karen said that her father is living a second life, so he knows about everything, and if he goes with them, he can get many rewards. Suddenly, something happened in the middle of the road. Some kind of yellow glow was visible there. The cars around scattered to the sides. Tyler, judging by the expression on his face, was waiting for this event. Right at the center of that event was Miguel, a demon from an underground chamber in Seoul. The people standing on the road did not understand who it was or what was happening. Miguel said that all the people around him should listen to him very carefully. He said that from now on, the higher ones give them an incredible chance of becoming spectators of the carnival. But people did not listen to him. Instead, everyone began to run away in all directions. Miguel didn't like that people didn't listen to him at all. While screaming, enough magic emanated from him to scatter cars around. He was unhappy that people did not listen to him when he told them such important information. Then he said that important information would be automatically added to their heads, so there was no need to explain everything to them. Suddenly Miguel noticed a car that was honking at him. A dissatisfied and irritated Tyler got out of the car. He ordered him to stop talking so much. Was this the demon Tyler was talking about? Adam asked, then added that he looked stronger than those goblins. Dissatisfied, Miguel began to come down to them with the words, did they really dare to compare him with goblins? When Miguel approached them, he grabbed Tyler by the shoulder, after which he apologized to Tyler, saying that he could not have known that he was here, and in addition asked not to hurt him, because people were looking at them. Tyler said he talked too much, and then ordered him to show him everything he had in his bag. Maybe he'll give them the elixir, Tyler asked, but Miguel answered with alarm that it was worth as much as 400,000 heads. Miguel said that the carnival has already begun, and if you break the rules, there will be trouble. Neither Adam nor Andrew understood what those two were talking about, and finally they finished talking and Tyler was already returning to them. Upon arrival, Karen asked him what they were talking about, to which her father replied that he bought something with his pocket money. He said that they would need this for their continued survival. Suddenly, a storm of emotions washed over Andrew. He did not understand what was happening and what this carnival was. Tyler replied that that demon starts the carnival and downloads basic information about it into people's heads. Andrew didn't understand how all this was even possible. Could he really be living a second life? Adam asked Tyler what he should do with the car, if he should leave it here, but Tyler told him to drive. Is it really possible for Adam to break into the dungeon in a car? He really liked this idea. But Tyler told him that he would go to Sinchon. There was an exit from the dungeon, and they would meet there. After all, in Sinchon, a more serious battle awaits them than in Seoul, called the Hour of Death. Thanks to the introduction of information into his head, he will know about everything. But Adam did not like the fact that even the children would fight, but he would not. Even if you quickly close the gate, there will be many victims, which is why Adam must go there. He must protect the people who will be in danger there. Adam said Tyler could rely on him. Unfortunately, Tyler understood that there would be an incredible amount of death. But this is also an opportunity to earn a lot of heads to buy the elixir, and get Master Brian on your side. Tyler wanted to finish quickly so that they could meet again later, after which he told Andrew and Karen to get ready. On the way to the dungeon, they also dealt with monsters. Everyone did it as best they could, but Karen killed them with magic. The guy knew that magic existed, but he had never seen it with his own eyes. But all Karen could think about was that she had to take her phone to make some TikTok videos. Andrew didn't understand how she could be so calm, but Karen said that she often played a game with zombies, so she wasn't afraid of them at all. Karen added that only pro player Flame is better than her in this game. Tyler told Karen not to overdo it and get overwhelmed again. A fairly large number of zombies were walking around the entire territory, but in a few seconds Andrew dealt with everyone, shooting them straight in the head. Tyler, seeing his accuracy, asked him if he really wanted to become a professional player, like his father. Andrew admitted that his herd was much better after the appearance of the goblins. Does he really have an innate skill in archery? Tyler asked. The guy replied that during the shooting, he had quite strange sensations, and as soon as he felt them, he would immediately tell about them. Suddenly, they saw that there was a chest with rewards right in front of them, but the road was blocked by a bunch of zombies. Karen immediately ran to him with the words that she would open it, while she incinerated every zombie in her path. Tyler immediately yelled at her to stop because something was wrong, but Karen didn't hear him. He remembered that he was somewhere in the dungeon. There is one trap, and most likely this chest is the trap. Tyler immediately ordered Andrew to shoot at this chest. As soon as Karen wanted to touch the chest, an arrow hit it, and it exploded. But in the end, Karen was not harmed. Her hair simply grew more voluminous. The father began to explain to his daughter that if she had touched this chest, she would have died instantly, so she should be more careful. With a frightened expression on his face, Andrew said that such things need to be warned in advance. But still, that chest was not empty. There was some kind of key inside. According to Tyler, it was the key to the boss's room, and finally they came to the main door of this room. Tyler said that behind this door was the king of the ghouls. Meanwhile, Adam was stuck in traffic, but he couldn't leave the car, because it was Tyler's car. Suddenly he heard on the radio that all residents of Suela should immediately go to the shelter. Looking out of the car window, he saw the reason for such a request. It turns out that the second gate of hell has opened. The twilight hour has arrived. In addition to the Ghoul King, there were also 4 powerful zombies in the room. If they did not deal with them, they would not be able to catch the king. Andrew said that if they combined their powers, they could defeat everyone. But Tyler said that it doesn't work that way, because the king of the ghouls will resurrect them. There is only one way out, and that is to kill them all at the same time. Karen asked her father if he used the thing he bought from Miguel. Taking that pendant out of his pocket, he said that it would delay the revival of zombies, but it would be quite difficult to resist 4 at once. But Tyler had a plan, the only way they could win. The military had already passed the first stage, but they knew that the second stage would be more dangerous. They needed the public's help, but they didn't know if any of them were survivors or not. The military man said that they had already checked everything using a thermal imager, and there were no civilians anywhere. If you don't fire at them from the air, then you can consider everything lost. At this point, the damage coming is much greater than when the first gates of hell were opened. The voice on the phone said that if the army goes on the attack, an even bigger mess will happen. First of all, you need to think about the people. But the military man did not like this. He believed that he wanted to make them victims. One of the soldiers told the commander that a civilian was approaching. The commander ordered him to be turned around immediately. But the whole problem was that they thought he was crazy, because he was just going for a breakthrough. It turns out that Adam was driving that car. At that time, Tyler and the children opened those doors and went inside. Tyler immediately summoned 3 warrior spirits and ordered them to attack the zombies. Karen also helped him. She attacked the zombies with her magic. Andrew was surprised how they could move so fast despite their size. Finally, in a fighting position, he was ready to shoot the zombies. When the first defeated zombie fell to the floor, Tyler took out that pendant. It somehow interacted with the zombie's brain. The Ghoul King pointed his finger at the dead zombie and whispered something. Karen looked at him in surprise to see if he was going to resurrect zombies. Tyler was surprised if she really understood his words. Most likely this was passed on to her from her mother. But he hasn't seen this before in the past, so this is just his guess for now. He asked his daughter to translate for them everything that the king of the coolies said. It turned out that the Ghoul King had indeed begun to revive his warriors. They, in turn, again began to attack Tyler and the children. But they only had one pendant, and if this continues, they will never win. Tyler looked at him and said that he had never done this before in his previous life. Then he shouted to his daughter to release her magic into the pendant. Karen's power must flow through him. This is the only way to reach them all with magic. But the zombies, with their eternal attacks, did not allow Tyler to carry out his plan. With tears in his eyes, Karen said he couldn't aim. Then she looked at Andrew and was surprised at how calm he was while aiming. While Andrew killed 2 zombies at once, Tyler raised the pendant above himself and told Karen to shoot him. But as soon as he said this, the zombie immediately knocked the pendant out of his hands, and it immediately broke. The remaining zombies at that time defeated the summoned souls of Tyler's warriors. The Ghoul King, seeing all this, immediately began to laugh. Karen fell into confusion. She did not understand if this was the end. Taking the fragments of the pendant in his hands, Tyler smiled and said that this was just the beginning. Immediately after these words, he stuck all the fragments that were in his hand into the zombie. After which Karen was finally able to take aim and kill 2 zombies. Tyler said that now it's the Ghoul King's turn. One of the surviving zombies decided to suddenly attack Tyler, but the soul summoned by Tyler instantly killed that zombie. A moment later, one of Tyler's warriors pierced his sword through the head of the Ghoul King, but due to the protective reaction of the Ghoul King's body, bones were released from the chest at that very second and pierced straight into Tyler. At that time, the military at the checkpoint recognized Adam and asked what he was doing here. Adam replied that he was like a hero who appears at the right time, in the right place. Then he added that the authorities would arrive soon. The soldier asked if Captain Tyler himself would come here. He replied that he would be the one coming, and until his arrival they will defend themselves here. Only the soldier said that they had no weapons for Adam, but he replied that he did not need their weapons, because he had his own, which was also quite strong. The soldier was surprised whether he was really going to fight with a sword against monsters that would not take bullets. To which he replied that the soldier already knows everything himself, because he was given all the necessary information. Then he added that guns are not considered weapons now. Now these magical objects are considered weapons. Adam gave the warrior a wooden tonfa as a weapon. He said to take care of them like a beloved wife. Because they are very expensive, he bought them with the last heads he had. And now the 2 of them were ready to fight the monsters. Karen was very worried about her father, so she started running to help him. But Andrew stopped her and said that maybe he could sort it out. He immediately shot at the Ghoul King, but with an unusual arrow. Tyler wondered if he had finally taken the matter seriously, after which he again shot with an unusual arrow, but this time at the shoulder. Tyler was surprised why he hit the shoulder and not the head, because for his abilities, it's the same as never getting hit. Andrew asked Karen to shoot magic at him, but without hitting him in the head. But this time the Ghoul King repelled the attack. Karen was clearly not ready for such a turn. Immediately after repelling the attack, the Ghoul King suddenly flew to attack Karen. While the king was in the air, Andrew hit him with an arrow again, but this time he hit him right in the heart. Having fallen to the ground, the king simply began to evaporate into the air. Tyler realized that only an arrow could have done the job, and there was no need for a pendant at all. He asked Andrew how he did it, to which he replied that he noticed that some parts of his body were glowing. If you kill them sequentially, then these runes will fall out. But not all monsters have this light. Andrew calls it a revelation. Tyler could not even imagine that the runes would help in the fight against the king, even without the pendant. If monsters with runes glow, they sometimes drop them. By combining abilities with Andrew, it will be possible to receive runes by the handful. The guy will clearly be useful to them. Suddenly, the reward for killing the Ghoul King appeared right in front of them. They received several Ghoul King coins and more than 15,000 heads. It was a jackpot. Andrew received the Ghoul King's aura magic glove, but he didn't understand what it was. Tyler said that this is a very useful and strong thing, so Andrew should use it wisely, and the smell will go away over time. The guy decided to put this glove on himself, covering his nose so as not to smell the smell, but eventually, he vomited, and Tyler said that the smell should disappear in about 3 years. But the main reward was the ancient keys of the King of Ghouls. With these keys you can open the treasury. There were just 3 of them, 1 for each. Karen asked her father what kind of scroll he was holding in his hands, to which he replied that with the help of this scroll it would be possible to find a way out of the treasury. And also, when they go down underground, they will have to separate, so don't be too scared when they are left alone. His daughter came to the conclusion that she could only choose one door, and it would be impossible to return the same way. Andrew asked what they should choose, but Tyler replied that he was not the one who defended this place in a past life, so he could not give any advice. He only knows that the defender received the Kundal crown, this item of necromancers, but even having received it, it will not bring much benefit. Tyler looked at Andrew and saw that he was looking at him with a suspicious look. Tyler said that he didn't know everything either. Then he added that this is only the first dungeon, so they can't choose for a long time, because Adam is waiting for them, and they need to hurry. Tyler said that this place looked beautiful. After all, it was a treasury belonging to the Emperor. He walked around the dungeon, looking for which door to choose, and came across a door with a sign, Morna's Blade. Thanks to only his second life, he knew that these were 2 blades used by the Japanese devil hunter, but the weapons were meaningless to them now. Suddenly Tyler's attention fell on one of the doors. He walked up to it, and was delighted. He couldn't find a way to get this item, so it was surprising to him that he was able to find it here, and so quickly. Entering inside, he saw some kind of magic book there. It was a book of Balanta, the highest level of magic. Having finished his business, he returned to the children. He asked them if they were able to choose the right door. Andrew said that it was hard, but he was able to decide. But he doesn't know if it's a useful thing, because there was no description anywhere. Karen also said that she was able to choose the door, and showed her father what was inside. It was a Lake Fairy bracelet. If you sleep with it, your strength will increase. He praised his daughter for her good choice. Well, Andrew showed Tyler that he had chosen the sword. He was surprised that Andrew chose a sword instead of a bow, after which he asked if there was really a bow anywhere, and if he owned a sword. But Andrew replied that he practically did not know how to wield the sword. He chose it only because of the name, which he liked. Tyler was clearly unhappy. The guy's answer surprised him. At that time, Adam and the commander fought side by side against monsters. The captain said that tonfa turns out to be a very useful weapon, but if they fight only the 2 of them, then the monsters will not end. Adam asked if the main strongman was already exhausted. The captain asked if he still had the strength to make jokes. After looking around, they realized that there were really a lot of monsters. The rest of the warriors were already at their limit, so they needed to retreat. But despite their situation, Adam still wanted to continue fighting. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a dagger was thrown at the captain. Adam pushed the captain away and saved him, but the dagger hit him right in the back. He began to feel his muscles being paralyzed by the poison. The captain said that now it is even more necessary to retreat, and Adam also needs to be cured. But Adam said that everything is fine, it just burns a little. It turned out that this is goblin poison. The captain does not know its composition, but he needs to get rid of it as soon as possible. But Adam said that if they surrender and release the goblins, they will disperse throughout Seoul, because he said that they need to continue, not only as military men. With the last of his strength, Adam told the captain to fight as if no one was stronger than him. He told him to fight them as if it was the last time. One guy was on a TV show and was asked what he saw, to which he replied that he saw a creature that was too ferocious for a human. He wasn't sure if it was a simple man, but he chopped goblins like they were made of cardboard. Then he added that there was also a man with him with a huge sword, Maybe he thought that he was a prophet. The English actor also mentioned the man who will save humanity during the press conference. The guy was not sure that one of them would save humanity, because they looked like destroyers. A large goblin, stronger than usual, stepped into the captain's path. According to the visible characteristics, this goblin is larger and stronger than those they have seen before. The first blow was delivered by the goblin, but fortunately, the captain managed to block it. The captain felt more and more weakness in his body, but he had enough strength for several more blows, and he put a lot of force into one of them. Using what little strength he had left, he punched the goblin straight in the stomach. The goblin didn't understand how an ordinary person could be so strong. Captain Carl had an innate ability to regulate his breathing. Thanks to this power, he was able to maintain a minimally open cerebral blood flow, thereby saving blood that the brain needed. Also, this ability requires an impressive dose of glucose, and if you use the saved blood for muscles, then muscle growth and physical strength will appear that exceeds human strength. Kneeling in front of Carl, the goblin called him a monster for his strength. As soon as Carl wanted to finish off the goblin, another little goblin ran up to his aid and stabbed the captain in the stomach with a dagger. The big goblin was scared because he told the little goblin to run away, but he said that he was too dear to him, so he couldn't just run away. In an instant, the captain killed the little goblin, and all that was left of him was a flower. The big goblin became incredibly angry and hit Carl with the last strength he had left. After the captain flew several meters away, the goblin immediately jumped up to crush him. Landing directly on him, the goblin inflicted enormous damage on him, even causing him to bleed from the mouth. The fatal flaw of the ogre condition is that it is based on blocking blood flow to the brain. People die within 10 seconds if blood flow to the brain is blocked, but in the ogre state, blood flow is not completely blocked. Due to the insecurity, Adam decided to take the situation into his own hands and simply run over the goblin. Pinching the goblin between the car and the room, Adam immediately jumped out of the car. With the last of his strength, he shouted if Carl was okay. But suddenly something exploded behind Adam. Turning around, he saw a goblin crying and angry in the fire. Carl didn't understand why he was crying. Was it really because of the death of the flower? But what he really didn't understand was why he was angry. Because it was because of him that many civilians and military men died. After all, in such a situation, only he should be angry, because he protected those people. There was only 1 second left before the captain's ogre mode ended. At the last second, he and the goblin collided for the last time. Literally a second later, the huge goblin was already lying dead on the ground. Only now the captain and Adam had completely run out of strength, and there were still a lot of goblins. They understood that most likely they would die this way, but they did everything in their power. Adam said that he had lived quite a colorful life, but suddenly he heard very familiar sounds. Raising his head higher, he saw that all the goblins around him were frozen. It was Tyler. He said that they did a good job, but then he would deal with everything himself. The three dealt with all the goblins around and said that it was much easier compared to the Ghoul King. Adam didn't understand how they ended up here without a car. It turned out that they came from Senshin Station, but since there were so many goblins there, they had to kill them all. Andrew asks if they are going to his father now. Tyler said that is what they will do now. After which Andrew said that they still don't have enough heads to buy the elixir. They need 400,000, but they only have 15,000. Tyler said that it would not be possible to collect 400,000 heads in one go. After which Karen asked her father what he got from the dungeon. He took out and showed a magical book called the Book of Belanta, and said that this is exactly what he took from the treasury. It was quite strange, because for a book, her magic rank was too high. But Tyler said that's the mystery of this book. She needs to feed her some rare item. Tyler decided to feed her that pendant. Due to the absorption, this book has changed from an ordinary top tier to a rare top tier. This book comes out giving things of a higher rank. The thing that had the highest magic rank was this. Without thinking for a second, Tyler immediately fed the books to his sword, and immediately from it he received a sword of epic highest rank. Unfortunately, the sword had no spirit, but since it was an epic rank, changes could be made. Adam said that this sword was perfect for Tyler. He was very lucky to have the weapon at hand. Only this is what kind of weapon Adam will now use. Tyler gave Adam that ice sword. Adam really liked it. He really wanted to try how it worked.